In today's video, I'm bringing you my top 10 running backs for the 2024 NFL Draft. If you play Dynasty football, this will also be a very helpful video for you. I'm going to get to some honorable mentions before I get to the top 10, but overall, it's just my personal opinion that this is one of the weaker running back classes since I started scouting, and I just don't anticipate any running back going in the first round. I think there's definitely some contributors, but it's not a very strong class if I'm honest with you guys. So we'll get into my top 10, but just quickly, I want to give you guys some honorable mentions. You can see all these names on your screen. A couple guys I wanted to specifically highlight. Jarquez Hunter, the junior out of Auburn. He is 5'10", 210 pounds, and he's carved out a nice little role for himself in Auburn. He's averaging just under 6 yards per carry in the SEC in an offense that is just not very good. He has been one of their lone bright starts. We'll also highlight Dylan Johnson, who a lot of you guys will see in the college football playoffs. He did a fantastic job in the Pac-12 playing through injury, 14 touchdowns on the year, only averaging 5.5 though in the Pac-12 is a little bit concerning. I also love Jalen Wright. He is 5'11", 210 pounds, the junior out of Tennessee. He's got just over 1,000 yards, but averaging 7.4 yards per attempt in the SEC. That is super, super impressive. Great speed, great burst. I mean, he's an exciting player to watch. And last, I wanted to put this guy into my top 10. I just don't know what the NFL thinks about him just yet. The combine could really change some of these results. Cody Schrader out of Missouri. He is a senior. He's 5'9", 215 pounds, and he's put up some ridiculous numbers this year. Just under 1,500 rushing yards, 13 rushing touchdowns, 6 yards per clip in the SEC. He's a very exciting name. And this class, there's so much nuance, I'd say, and so much room for differences of opinion. Depending on how he tests at the combine, I could put Cody Schrader all the way into my top 5. That's how much I like him overall. Okay, let's get into my top 10. At number 10, now these are just my opinions, right? So some people will disagree. That's okay. That's what we're here to talk about, to kind of gain knowledge together. At number 10, let's talk about Notre Dame's running back, Audric Estime. He's 5'11", 230 pounds pretty much. He's 20 years old, 4-star recruit out of New Jersey. Audric Estime, and let me just say from the very beginning, guys, all these players that we're talking about, I have watched at least 3 All-22 films on these players. So a lot of what you will hear from me is about their traits, what shows up on film. Because Audric is one of these names who has put up some huge production. And a lot of people might have him higher than me. But I'm trying to think about not only what they've done in college. I don't care about their college production as much. I care about how they will translate to the next level. And Estime is a little bit lower in my rankings because I really struggle to see any sort of dynamic playmaking ability with this running back. At Notre Dame, it's clear how he won: physicality. He is a super physical running back, big, strong, smack you in the mouth type of back. He thrives off of contact and hurting the defense for attempting to tackle him. That's where he wins at Notre Dame. Now, my concern, and the reason that he's a little bit lower in my personal rankings, is there's not much acceleration. He's not going to be a home run hitter. He doesn't have that long run speed at the next level. I don't love his burst. There's not much twitchiness. It doesn't mean that he's a bad player. I just think he's going to have a clear defined role at the next level. He's going to get you those short yardage, kind of smack you in the mouth type of yardage, type of attempts. But I just don't see him, being someone that's going to break away a 50-yard rushing touchdown many times in his career. This is the type of running back that you kind of beat the defense into submission with. But I don't like his lateral quickness or his elusiveness. He's very stiff in his body, doesn't move well laterally, has little to no twitch or suddenness. I could not see him in any other role outside of a short yardage, early down type of back. I don't believe that Estime does anything at an elite level. He can handle 20 plus carries. You're not going to get much dynamic play making out of him. It kind of reminds me of the likes of like Brian Robinson in his rookie year. He's been a lot better this second year, but Brian Robinson out of Alabama. It also reminds me, I think this is a perfect comp, of A.J. Dillon. A lot of people were excited about A.J. Dillon, this big bruiser running back, but is A.J. Dillon someone that's exciting you in Dynasty, or someone that you are excited to build your run game around? Not for me personally. You guys might disagree. Okay, at number 9, this is one of my favorite sleepers in the class, Ray Davis, or as we call him, Sweet Baby Ray Davis. He is 5'10", 216 pounds. Now, he is a fifth-year senior. I'm not sure how NFL scouts will really view him as an older running back coming out. And, you know, he is the type of guy that has just fought for everything that he's ever had in his life. He transferred from Temple to Vanderbilt to Kentucky. He's been all around. You know, he was an orphan growing up. He didn't have parents. Like, everything that he's ever had in his life, it was not given to him. He's worked for it. I love that mentality. In and out of foster care, homeless for a time. This is the kind of guy that you want to see succeed. Let's talk about his game, though. His traits, his play strength. Some guys, they're big bodies, but they don't play strong. And Ray Davis is not that kind of player. He is a big body. Well, he's 216, but he plays with a ton of physicality. He, you know, actively initiates contact to gain more yards. He's got that bulldog, you know, kind of status to his game. Quick, decisive planning, specifically his feet, gives him an ability to make the defender miss in front of him. Above average speed. It's not elite for sure, but I think it translates at the next level. And he's got that sweet feet behind the line of scrimmage, waits for the right lane to open up, and manipulates defenders' movements with his feet to kind of gain leverage in that second level of a run. Again, he is a fifth-year senior. That is a little bit of a knock on his profile. And I don't know that his athletic advantage is going to translate that much at the next level. So when you think of a pro comp, I think this is the type of player that's going to join a team and just earn everything that he's been given. Exactly like Jaylen Warren for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think that's the kind of, you know, journey that we could see Ray Davis take in his NFL career. All right, on to number 8. This is a running back that is super exciting to watch on film. I mean, you put on a couple of this guy's games, it's hard not to fall in love with this player. Devin Neal out of Kansas, 5'11", 210 pounds, former 4-star recruit. He played in Lawrence, Kansas, and he was born in Lawrence, Kansas, so a little bit of a hometown kid. But Devin is probably, I think I could say this, I think he's the most creative running back in this class. Have you guys ever seen performance street art, right? Like when at that light, like let me push over a pile of trash cans, that's street art. I mean, this is your equivalent of the sports street art, if you will. Devin Neal in the open field, creating his own lane to kind of go for a touchdown. He has elite change of direction, a really nasty jump cut, probably the second best jump cut in this class. This guy can absolutely embarrass a defender on any touch. It's like he's teleporting from right to left. It's like he's in a different time zone by the time he finishes that cut. Now, he doesn't have long run speed that the home run hitters at the next level will have. I'm not claiming that his speed isn't adequate, but it's similar to like a Ray Davis. Like, you know, you're probably not going to have many 70-yard touchdowns with this kind of player. Outside of his change of direction, I also don't believe there is another elite attribute to his game, and that concerns me a little bit. But I think he's a great complementary piece. Reminds me a little bit of Khalil Herbert out of the Chicago Bears. All right, moving on to my number 7 running back. That is Bucky Irving out of Oregon. A little bit undersized. He's 5'10", 195. But today's NFL really allows players like that to operate in space. But if I had to describe Bucky in one word, it would be explosive. He is an explosive player out of the backfield. A lot of versatility. Again, in today's NFL where players dominate in space, Bucky could give an offensive coordinator multiple ways to use him within their game plan. He's got great burst, short area quickness. He's a twitchy player, good jump cut. He can make a player miss in space in multiple different ways. Great pass catching as well. Very talented receiver. I could see NFL GMs, scheming up opportunities for him in the screen game, on third downs, etc. With his dynamic play and pass catching prowess, I could see him become an integral part to an offense on third down or in passing downs. It reminds me of like James White. Remember what James White did for Tom Brady and the Patriots in, his prime? I think that's what Bucky Irving could give an NFL team when he is drafted. The strength and the size, it's a little bit of a knock. And the last thing is overall Pac-12 production concerns me. Again, think about the Pac-12 games that you have watched in your time. Most of them have been blowouts, and that's because the best defensive high school recruits typically don't want to go to the Pac-12. They want to go to the Big Ten or the SEC. The Pac-12 is really fun to watch for offense, but typically not the best defense on a week in, week out basis. But if you're looking for a pro comp, he reminds me a little bit of Tajay Spears. I don't think he has the same dynamic playmaking that Tajay had, but I see a little bit of shades there. And of course, like I mentioned, James White. So it'll be interesting to see where he gets drafted. I think he's more of a round 4 pick, in my personal opinion. All right, on to my 6th running back in the class. And guys, let's be honest, from 6 all the way to 1, you're going to see so many people have these guys ranked in different orders. I'm not claiming my list 100% right. I'm claiming based off the film that I have watched as of today, this is how I would rank these players. And again, it's not only about collegiate production, it's about how these players will translate at the next level. What traits do they have? What does their film speak to translate to the next level? So at number 6, a lot of people love this player. A lot of people are going to be upset that he's this low. This is where I would have Braylon Allen out of Wisconsin. He is 6'2", 245 pounds. Now, I actually really loved Braylon Allen in the 2022 and 2021 season. We're talking about a running back who at the age of 17 put up double-digit touchdowns and over 1,000 yards at the age of 17 in the Big Ten. I mean, super, super impressive. Last year, he looked great as well. He added about 15 pounds to his frame this year. And this is why I always suggest to people, don't watch previous year's film. You watch only the year that just happened. That's what scouts are going to be watching at the next level. And this year's film, in my opinion, hate me if you want, is the most disappointing film of his time in college. The added pounds is really, really noticeable. You know, let's talk about the good things with him first, though. He is a massive human being. Massive. I said 6'2", 245. I mean, this dude, very few running backs look like this man at the next level. I mean, he looks more like a linebacker. That's how his build and frame is kind of set up. His strength is unquestionably his best attribute. No question, the strongest running back I have scouted in the last 3 to 5 years. I mean, the strength is next level. He's a great downhill runner. It takes him a little bit to get to that top speed, but when he is at that top speed, it is very difficult to bring him down. It's a nightmare for defenders. You get a guy at 245 pounds with that kind of strength going downhill, yeah, you're going to be in the ice bath for a couple days. Now, like I mentioned, though, there are a couple concerns for me when it comes to translating to the next level. I think if the year was 2000, Braylon Allen would be a very highly coveted running back. But the NFL is so different today than what it was back then. And here are some things that concern me. His burst, his short area quickness, and his versatility are all things that I really value in a running back. And those are all areas that I think that he lacks. As fun as it is to imagine this guy just bulldozing defenders on a weekly basis, I'm concerned about his lack of dynamic ability. He's quite stiff. He doesn't really move that well laterally and doesn't really have a calling card to make a guy miss in the open field outside of just bulldozing them over. And the entire NFL right now is about putting playmakers in space. And if your calling card is just bulldozing someone over, I'm not sure that they're going to get creative and scheme up ways for you to get involved in the passing game. He's not a very versatile player. You know, it's very clear what he does well, and he does it very well, but he's not a versatile guy. Like, you're not going to put this guy in space. You're not going to line this guy up as a wide receiver. He's probably not going to play third downs. He's also not that elusive. Now, for his size, of course, he's an elusive player, but at the next level where, you know, you kind of need some more fluidity when everyone is a better athlete around you, there's just not that elusiveness that I want to see from my kind of running backs. Look, my biggest concern with Braylon is that there's not as much dynamic playmaking as you would like to see. He doesn't have a home run hitting ability. Look, I'm not claiming that he won't break runs off, but I'm concerned that an NFL team won't give him the leeway to make those plays because they won't build an offense around him. Now, he'll be a great short yardage back. He'll be great on the goal line, no doubt, but I'm a little bit concerned about how his game translates to today's NFL. If you want to look at some pro comps, I think he can be as good as a Michael Turner back when the Falcons were playing. I love that player, but I think his floor is as low as like Latavius Murray or a Deonta Foreman. And those are two valuable players in today's NFL, but they're also not players that are really winning people any sort of dynasty championship. So that's my opinion. You guys might disagree, and you know what? That is completely okay if you do. Moving on to my RB5 in the class, that is Blake Corum out of Michigan. He is 5'8", 213 pounds. He will be 23 by the time the draft comes around. And, you know, I think about running backs and do I care about how old they are when they come out of college for dynasty purposes? For me, no, not really, because a running back's lifespan in the NFL already is so short. Think about how few of them actually get big long-term contracts after their rookie deal anyway. It doesn't concern me personally, but Blake Corum has got great strength, great break tackle ability. That's the first thing that you're going to notice about him. That low center of gravity really is his best friend. He's not tall, but he is thick, and he's got this strange ability to just stay upright despite some sort of contact. He is great with yards after contact as well. Difficult guy to bring down. And one of Blake's best attributes that consistently gets overlooked is his high IQ. What he lacks in athleticism, he makes up for with his smarts, including how he attacks different defensive schemes. Contrary to what people say, I think he's a fine pass catcher. He's certainly not the best catcher in this class, not even by far, but he is a fine pass catcher. Now, he doesn't have long run speed. He's not going to, be a home run hitter, but this is a consistent guy that can continue kind of grind the defense away. And my issue with him ultimately, why he's not higher for me, is he's just not the same athlete that the top four are in this class, in my personal opinion. And his best film was in 2022. But if you're looking for some pro comps, I think he can be as good as a Maurice Jones-Drew, a Ray Rice. I'm not saying that will happen. That's his ceiling. His floor is much lower, kind of what J.J. Taylor and Dion Lewis are giving or gave NFL teams. I think he's an early down committee running back with the upside to see 15 plus carries in any single game. All right, now we go into my top four. At number 4, I really like me some Marshawn Lloyd out of USC in the Pac-12. He's 5'9", 210 pounds, former 4-star recruit. Marshawn transferred to USC before this year, and thank God he did for Caleb Williams, because outside of Caleb Williams, he was the best player on that team this year. This is a lightning in a bottle type of running back. Great burst, obvious long run speed that will translate at the next level. And that's got to get NFL scouts really excited when they think about how he can be utilized. The burst is truly special. Great cuts. I mean, this guy is cutting through his running lanes like a hot knife through butter. The long run speed is there. Most games when you're watching the All-22 film, you're thinking to myself, or I'm thinking to myself, there's nobody on the field faster than this man at this moment. Great short area quickness, lateral ability, similar burst. But he absolutely has that kind of like make that man miss ability. I mean, multiple ways that he can make you miss in the open field. Nasty jump cut. He is very, very impressive. He might have the best jump cut in this class, if I'm honest. But again, he does play in the Pac-12, so I'm not sure exactly how to value his production. But if you're looking for a pro comp, I think this is a copycat league. And a lot of teams are going to be looking at Devon Achane and thinking, how do we replicate that for us? Devon Achane is a better prospect, a better talent than Marshawn Lloyd. Let's just get that out of the way. But I'm saying a team could look at Marshawn Lloyd and think, he could give us a little bit of what Achane is giving the Dolphins. We'll give the ball to him 8 to 15 times a game, and he can just make an impact every time he touches the ball. When I look at a pro comp, I think if you put Naeem Hines and Devon Achane together, you made a player between those two guys. I think that's what you're getting with the likes of Marshawn Lloyd. All right, so we're going to get into my top 3 now. Keep in mind, guys, that at the moment, some of these players, we don't know if they're even going to declare yet. Okay, so some of these players could come back. My number 3 running back before his injury was actually the RB1 for me in this class. He was confidently my RB1 in this class. And look, depending on if he comes out and goes to the draft, and if he gets good draft capital, he could shoot right back up to being my RB1. However, he did tear his ACL late into the college football season, and I'm just not sure what that will mean for his draft capital, but I absolutely love this kid. It hurt me to hear when he was injured. Jonathan Brooks, out of Texas. He is 6 foot, 207 pounds. He's a young player, only 20 years old, and he's a former 4-star recruit. Excuse me. There's not a running back that I personally enjoyed watching more this year than Jonathan Brooks. Extremely fluid motions. I mean, it is truly hard to put into words, but it's like watching motor oil kind of flow through an engine. I mean, he is so smooth. He can maintain a high amount of speed while moving in and out of his cuts. He's got good vision. His vision is up there with some of the best in the class. Because of his bursts and his quick, movements, he can be patient behind the line of scrimmage and quickly zoom straight through an open lane. A real creative guy behind the line of scrimmage. Lateral quickness, short area quickness, it's all there. He's a very good pass catcher as well. Could be a nightmare in the NFL as a pass catcher. I mean, there are times where I'm watching Texas drop screenplays for him, and I'm thinking to myself, that looks like Travis Etienne in the open field. I mean, that is the kind of dynamic ability a guy like Jonathan Brooks has. Great speed. I'm not going to sit here and say it's elite because I think that word is overused, but it's 100% adequate for the next level. Again, my concerns is, will he declare? What will a team think about him recovering from an ACL for most of his first rookie year? I just get flashbacks to a guy that I loved, Jameson Williams. It really hurt his growth to be not have his rookie camp, to be not with the team the way he wants to be, not getting chemistry. So I'm not sure what that means just yet. But my pro comps, I think he has the ceiling to be as good as a Travis Etienne, a Cam Akers, and a Miles Sanders. I mean, that's the kind of player I'm seeing with the likes of Jonathan Brooks. Okay, this brings me to my number 2 running back. And my number 1 running back is still up for grabs, guys. The combine is going to be a huge, huge factor. Draft capital is going to be a huge factor as well. But at the moment, TreVeyon Henderson is my number 2 running back. I already know what everyone's going to comment. TreVeyon's coming back to Ohio State. TreVeyon's coming back to Ohio State. So at the moment, guys, everyone saw a report, a rumor. It could be true. I'm not saying it's not. But everyone saw one report and everyone's reporting it as if it's 100% fact that TreVeyon Henderson is coming back to college on a huge NIL deal. Now, again, don't hear what I'm not saying. It's very possible that TreVeyon Henderson could come back to school. At this moment, at the time of recording, that has not been confirmed by TreVeyon. That's not been confirmed by anyone in his circle. So we have no reason to take it as fact just yet. I personally believe that if he decides to come back to school, it might be a mistake for his career because the 2025 running back class is much, much, much stronger than this year's class. I'm not sure he would be the number 1 in next year's class either. So he's going to have to make that decision for himself. Of course, if he declares, then we'll take him off the list. But at the time of recording, that is not currently the case. But TreVeyon Henderson is 5'10", 214 pounds, former 5-star recruit. Everyone loved this kid coming out of high school. Ohio State felt like they won the lottery when they ultimately had him commit there. But he's a fantastic running back. This kid absolutely will translate to the NFL. His elusiveness is by far his best trait. That rare ability to make a man miss in multiple different ways. The hesitations, the jukes, the jump cuts, the contact balance. quick stop, start, change of direction, moves laterally really, really well. 8 times out of 10, he's making you miss in a one-on-one scenario. A very dynamic, explosive playmaking running back. He has true home run hitting speed. He's a fantastic pass catcher, shows good route running, great hands, a good ability to give you yards after the catch. I could see him being a top 10 running back in receptions in his rookie year. I mean, that's how good of a receiver this kid truly is. Now, a couple concerns I have. Number one, pass pro is not currently a strength of his when you watch the All-22. He's not terrible at it, but he's not the best pass protector in this class by far. I know he's listed at 215, but his frame more looks like 200 to me at times, and that shows up in his physicality as a pass protector when he has to take on a linebacker to protect his quarterback. That can be improved, but at the moment, it is a weakness of his. His physicality is also a concern. Like I mentioned, he's 215. Some guys play up to, they're more physical than their weight. Travion is just a little inconsistent with his physicality. There's times where he doesn't seek out the physicality. There's times where he does. And it's just a little confusing to watch on film. It's just, I wish he would play up to his weight 24/7 is what I'm saying. And his vision, I wouldn't say it's a problem. 90% of the time, he's doing the best with what's been given to him. However, at times, I feel like Travion is a little bit too impatient rather than allowing the play kind of come to him. But I love this player. I think all that can be coached up. He reminds me a little bit of Tiki Barber. That's a throwback if you guys ever watched him. And D'Angelo Williams out of Carolina. I think this is a do-it-all type of running back, and I'm really excited to see him at the next level. Is that going to be this year? Anyone who tells you they know for sure right now is probably lying to you. All right, and my number one running back. I did not expect there to be as much hate on this guy than there currently is in the community, but I'm standing by it. My number one running back at this time, this is fluid. The list will change, but my number one running back is Trey Benson out of Florida State. He is 6'1", 223 pounds, former 4-star recruit, transferred from Oregon 2 years ago to Florida State. In my opinion, a lot of people are going to be out on Trey Benson if they're spreadsheet people. The spreadsheet people, I think, will be out on Trey Benson, and I think the film people will love him. For me, Trey Benson is a complete running back. Size, speed, burst, short area quickness, strength through contact. He's a good pass catcher. He can do it all, in my opinion. His best attribute is his strength through contact, his ability to make people miss while maintaining a high amount of speeds. So much strength in his upper and lower body. He makes defenders pay for trying to stop him. And by the way, arm tackles are not doing a damn thing on Trey Benson. He has great vision at this young phase of the process, if you will. He impressed me the most outside of Jonathan Brooks when you're looking at vision in the second level of a run. So you got past the offensive line. Now, what angles are you going to take in the second level of that run? He's super impressive. It reminds me a little bit of Breece Hall. I'm not comparing them as players, but I'm saying his vision reminds me a little bit of Breece Hall, who was my RB1 in that class. And I'm hearing a lot of people say he doesn't have home run speed. That's just blatantly not true. I don't know how else to say it. Very few people on this planet can be 223 pounds and run as fast as Trey Benson. In my opinion, he unquestionably has home run hitting speed. According to Cam Mellor of College Football Network, no player has hit 21 miles per hour or greater in a game more than Trey Benson. He's done it 3 times so far this year, which honestly lines up with film because I see a home run hitter on the All-22. His burst is so noticeable. He can get to that top speed in 0 to 2 seconds. His breakaway percentage currently stands at 52.1%, which is 6th best amongst running backs. In college football with a minimum of 90 attempts. Now, I'm hearing this narrative where people are trying to take away his breakaway yardage and then say he's not an efficient running back, which I personally find it's a little interesting because if you take away any player's best plays, yeah, the yards per carry, their efficiency is going to look much, much worse. I mean, how does that not, like, 1 + 1 = 2 in my opinion? But yeah, of course, if you take away his breakaway plays, he's not going to be as efficient of a running back. But I think about guys in the NFL today, like Ken Walker. What happens if you take away his explosive breakaway plays? I think about Travis Etienne. What happens if you take away his explosive, plays? He's probably averaging under 3 yards per carry if you take those away. But teams are looking for dynamic playmakers like a Trey Benson. So if people are going to knock him because of that, I just don't really understand it personally. I think he's a good pass catcher. He played well against LSU. Now, again, if you only look at the box score, it wasn't that impressive. But if you actually watch the film, it was quite impressive in my opinion. And when I look at a pro comp, there are 3 names that really come to mind when I watch Trey Benson. David Montgomery, Javonte Williams, Javonte specifically when it comes to forcing missed tackles, and Rashad Penny. People might not be excited about Rashad Penny, but he was a great prospect coming out of college. So big fan of his game. Some people are going to absolutely hate it. I mean, scroll through the comments. There's probably already people who are like, "You're kidding me. There's no way he's your RB1." It's so early in the process. This is not a strong running back class. I'm not going to hate on anyone who has any particular running back as their RB1. But as of today, Trey Benson is my RB1. Very excited to see him at the next level. And of course, we need to wait to see if he's going to declare as well. But those are my top 10. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. If you guys want access to our rookie scouting and ranking package, we talk about all the players' attributes, strengths, weaknesses, pro comps, projected draft capital. We give our rookie rankings as well. That's all in one PDF that we offer to people over on the Flock Fantasy website. If you want access to it, use our promo code LAND, sign up to the Mother Flocker tier over there, and you're going to get access to that when it releases at the end of December. You're also going to get access to a Dynasty team review where we'll tell you what moves we'd make with your team, give you some advice. You unlock the Dynasty Trade Calculator, which is over on the Flock Fantasy site, the best calculator in the industry. You unlock all of our regular Dynasty rankings, one quarterback, super flex. You unlock the best articles in the industry. You unlock the Fantasy Hotline, which is a direct DM to us for advice. You unlock the Dynasty Trade Show, which is a weekly show that we do where we review your trades. So much available to you when you decide to support the show. Check out the description, the pinned comment, and let us know if you have any questions. But enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll see you very, very soon. Now that those idiots are done talking, who needs some rankings?
Hell yeah, I need some rankings.
Then use promo code LAND, L-A-N-D, for 30% off any membership at flockfantasy.com.
Oh.
It's so easy. Even your grandma could scan that QR code right there.